All right, guys, we'll have Landon Marceaux and Gavin Dugas and Devin Fontenot to answer your questions. And then following the three players, we'll have Coach Maneri. So whenever we're ready, let's see. Okay, we should be ready to roll. So you guys can go ahead and start with Landon Marceaux with questions for Landon.
Hey, Landon, this is Glenn West here. I guess, you were on that team a couple of years ago, I think, when you guys went to Oregon State. I mean, just talk, I guess, first about, the possibilities of going back to a regional up in that area and just how excited you are to extend your season.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was not on that team. I went to Oregon State. I do know what it's like to pitch in a regional. And, we're looking forward to it. I said after Georgia that all we need is an opportunity. And today we're fortunate enough to get an opportunity. We're going to go up to Oregon and we're going to compete. And, we're going to see what happens. But, we're going to take the rest of this week, get some good work in, get really prepared the best we can. We're going to take a flight up to Oregon and do what we can.
Yeah, Landon, I mean, you said after that loss that anxiety was going to be high until y'all found out if your season was over or not. In the midst of it, Coach Maneri announces his retirement. Just what has the last week been like, sort of from an emotional standpoint? What have y'all how does it felt for waiting for a week and then having your coach retire in the middle of it as well?
Yeah, well, there's been a lot of hope, for this team and for Coach. I mean, we didn't want that to be the last game for Coach. That would have been, devastating. When he announced that, I was a young boy watching Coach. He's been here for 15 years and he's done extraordinary things. And, to leave on that note would be devastating. And to get this opportunity to play for Coach, again, it means a lot to me. I'm sure it means a lot to this team. I'm sure it means a lot to him for sure. So that's why we're going to work hard this week and get it best prepared for Oregon as we can. Hopefully make a run there and then hopefully find our way to Knoxville and hopefully find our way to the College World Series in Omaha. So that's the plan going forward. And as far as the attitude of the team goes, it was just a lot of hope. And today we were able to get an opportunity, and now we have to work and run with it.
Hey, Landon, Doug Mouton at WWL-TV in New Orleans. Look, you were pretty down last week. Over the last week, as you guys started, I guess, looking at your chances and how you sort of fit in, were you feeling more confident about your chances to get in by the time we got to today? Did you feel pretty good about your chances today?
I had no idea what our chances were. I really did. Obviously, I don't have any social media accounts. I don't really follow, all that type of stuff. So I really don't know. I'm just hearing word of mouth that we could be here, or, I did not know, I was just full of hope, and that we could get another opportunity and we're fortunate enough to do so.
Landon, how much, if anything, you think since Coach's announcement, has it weighed on you guys as a team, or how much y'all thought about that? Y'all are his last team. He's been doing this for 40 years, and y'all are going to be his last team. And trying to send him off on a good note. You kind of touched on that earlier, but I just want to know about since Friday, have y'all talked about that? And there's maybe a responsibility might not be the best word, but what that means to you guys to try to send him out as best you can.
Yeah, well, as a team, we obviously we wanted this opportunity to send him out. We kind of got together and talked about it, and I think it's now that we have this opportunity, I think it's really motivating us. Knowing that, hey, this is going to be Coach's last run, so hey, let's not really focus on us and let's focus on doing it for him, and doing it for this program that he's been a part of and in charge of for the last 15 years. I think that means a lot to this team. And a lot to him for sure, and to get an opportunity to send him out on top once again.
Landon, how shocked were you and the guys when Coach Maneri told you on Friday? And was that, I guess that was the first you heard of it?
Yeah, I had no idea, that was even a thought. he came in and he said his contract lasted 3 years and he had full, and he wanted to fulfill that contract. And I was shocked. I had no idea that was going to happen, but it's coach's decision and he's been at this a long time. So he knows what's best for him and he knows what's best for this program. And I think, we're just, like I've been saying, we're going to take this opportunity and try and send them out on top.
Landon, what's the positive maybe in the rest that you and AJ and some of the pitchers can get as you go into the tournament? I know that's a long regular season. That's a lot of innings on your arm. Can you kind of recharge a little bit to make this run?
Well, I think I'm in the best shape right now that I've been in all year. Yes, I'm 90 something innings in, but you train your body so much. You stay in the weight room, you stay conditioning, the running, the work in there with Corey Couture, our athletic trainer, to stay as healthy as we can. I think right now I'm in prime shape. Last start, even though we lost, that's probably the best my stuff as a whole has been all year. As far as velocity and movement and commanding the pitches other than the first inning. So I think I'm in top shape right now. I'm definitely ready to go for sure. Mikhail Hilliard has stepped up big time. He's really going to give us a chance, and AJ is going to give us a chance like he always does. Despite the struggles the last few weeks, we have supreme confidence in AJ. He throws strikes, he gives us a chance, and that's all we're looking for. So I think with us three, we've got a really good chance of making a run for sure. And then our bullpen has stepped up the last few weeks as well. And that's been a huge contribution to what we've been doing these past couple of weeks. And we're going to try and take that momentum and go forward with it into the regional.
Hey, Landon, obviously, you guys, Devin, a lot of the, kind of veteran pitchers and Gavin as well can be thrown into that mix of, you guys have been in postseason baseball before, and a lot of, young guys that are on this team that didn't get to experience that last year or obviously this year being freshmen. Just what's the message to those guys about postseason baseball and what you can expect at this time of year?
Well, don't add more pressure on yourself than there already is. That's the simplest thing. I think a lot of guys, get to the postseason and they're like, oh, it's win or go home, which, yes, correct. But, and I think that's adds pressure. There is enough pressure, especially playing at LSU and going on the road, for a regional. There's enough pressure. So to put more pressure on yourself may be harmful to you. So I think, channel the pressure, use it the right way, let it motivate you and not bring you down, I think would be the best advice I could give. And that's about it. So.
All right, that's all for Landon. Thank y'all. All right, y'all can start for Gavin.
Hey, Gavin, it's Wilson. Just to start things off here, what was the feeling like there in the room when you finally, after a week of waiting for it, knew that your season wasn't over? Y'all, you exploded out of your chairs and everything. How did it feel to be in that room knowing that you were going to have a chance?
It was a big relief. Obviously, you don't want to end the way we did with Georgia. It shouldn't have ended that way, and it's not going to. We have the opportunity, and we just gotta take advantage of it. So.
Yeah. Hey, Gavin, this is Glenn here. Obviously we just talked with Landon a little bit about it, but just, kind of your reaction to Coach Mainieri, obviously announcing his retirement after this year. And, he talked about how much, you guys met as a team afterwards and just talked about wanting to, win this for him, go deep for him. Just talk about, your reaction to that news.
It was definitely a shell shock. You never want to see anybody step away from the game. But Coach is at peace with it. I understand where he's coming from, and I understand what he's going through. You really hate to see somebody with his success and his ability to lead a team like he's always led the team since I've been here, just step down like that. But at the end of the day, like I love every bit of him. He's one of the best coaches I've ever had. He's a great man, great human being. He's shaped me into the man that I have been in today, and I'm continuing to be just because of all the things that he's challenged me through my life. So I mean, I appreciate him, everything he's done for us, and hopefully we can pay it back in a good way.
Gavin, how are your ribs feeling, and how much pain were you in when you played with the bruised ribs?
They're feeling good. Day by day, it's been getting better. The doctor said it was going to be a little bit until I kind of feel 100% again. But I was in a good bit of pain. I will say that, but nothing I couldn't handle to be able to compete with the guys. But thank God I was able to come back from that and get back in the lineup as soon as I was, and just a testament of just the coaching staff and Corey. So.
Quick follow-up to that. Where would you say you're at right now, sort of percentage-wise?
I'm getting there. I'm almost 100%. I'm almost there. Yeah.
Hey, Gavin, I think old people like me think about cross-country trips and like, oh God, I don't want to do that. Is it exciting for you guys to get out and see something you guys have probably never seen before?
Absolutely. It will be my first time on the West Coast. I'm really excited to see what it's like over there, just kind of experience it, and it's just exciting to play another game of baseball. I mean, with this team, and you just can't be any more excited anymore. Just focused to be able to have a great week of practice and get on that plane and go wherever we need to play another game. So I'm stoked, and I know the team is, and everybody on the team is. This is another opportunity. So.
You kind of mentioned it a moment ago. Could you elaborate on the idea of like not finishing the way you wanted in Hoover and still being able to write your own script here and how it can finish?
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, you definitely don't want to finish the way we did in Georgia. Obviously, everything up to this point we have done to ourselves, and we control what we do moving forward, like you said, and we will. We're looking forward to the challenge of where we're seated and where we're going to be and who we're playing. Gonzaga is a really good team, and we're really looking forward to the task at hand, the challenge that they're going to face, and I hope they're looking forward to facing Landon Marceaux because he's gonna give them everything they need to see. So, I mean, it's going to be a fun week, preparation, and we're really excited to go, and we're really excited to just kind of move on from Georgia. I know a lot of people have. It's ready to move on to the next game. So.
Gavin, how do you feel about this team? Moving forward, all you gotta do is find a way to win 5 games in 2 weekends, right? And you can be there. But I mean, how do you feel about your chances?
I think we have some very good chances, to be honest with you. I don't know what other people say. I don't know what other people think, but I do know that we have a really good lineup. We have a really good pitching staff. We can handle what we need to handle, and we got guys that can play some good defense behind us. And I'm really looking forward to the challenge, like I said, and I think we can do it. And obviously we're gonna show up, and we're gonna go one game at a time, like we always have been this whole year. And I will put it to this: every game that we played this year in the SEC and in the SEC tournament, it's been games that are really important, and it's kind of prepared us. And I think we will be ready. We're used to the pressure, and we're going to embrace everything that we get. So,
Gavin, to Coach Maneri for a second. Where were y'all when he told you? And you talked about how he has helped shape you. What has he done to kind of, I don't know, help turn you into the person you are today?
There's been a ton of challenges by Coach in my career. Some good, some not so good. That most people would say it's pretty tough. But every single thing that he's done to me, every single thing that he said to me has all been for a reason. And looking back on it, I'm so thankful that he has done all the things that he's done. He's taught me so much about myself and so much about this game. And I couldn't be forever more thankful for that. He's shown me how to be strong, how to handle things. And he's given me a love for the game that I really couldn't see in myself until now. So I'm really appreciative of that.
Gavin, I think in your first game back after the injury, you dived for a ball right on your ribs. How painful was that? And did you know it was going to hurt when you dove?
Yeah, I had a good feeling that it was going to hurt pretty good. Whenever I ended up landing on the ground, but at the end of the day, yeah, I chose to play that day, and I told the coaching staff and I was ready, and in any situation I was put in, I was going to have to handle it. So I mean, there's no excuses for not being able to catch that ball. So it did hurt a little bit, but at the end of the day, that's what needed to be done to get that game done.
And your actual swing, did that hurt too? I think you homered your first at bat. Did the act of swinging hurt?
Every motion I did that weekend was pretty painful, to be honest. But it wasn't nothing that we couldn't get through. So there's a little bit of adversity that we had to overcome, and we did that. So we're just gonna keep moving forward from that.
Kevin, I think about the pressures of playing at LSU, and obviously there's a pressure to qualify for the postseason, right out of the gate. Elaborate on that. And do you all feel that? Do you welcome that? Obviously, you accept the scout criteria.
Absolutely. We embrace all the pressure. This whole season has, to me personally, has been filled with a ton of pressure, in my opinion. Just with how we started out the gate, struggling a lot, and what we needed to do in the SEC, and what we knew that we needed to do to get into the tournament. So I mean, like I said, every game was a postseason game for us, leading up to the end of the season. And I think that was really, really good for this team. It prepared us in a way that it will be ready come Friday night when we play Gonzaga. So it'll be good for us, and I'm really looking forward to how this team handles a couple of days off, and everybody's healthy and ready to go.
Thanks, man.
Any more questions? Thank y'all. All right, y'all can start with questions for Devin. Wait, hold on. We're going to scooch it just a little bit. Scooch over. All right, there you go. Thank y'all.
Devin, I guess we'll just start with today. What was your reaction? What did it sort of feel like to finally see y'all's name pop up there on the screen today, and know that after a week of waiting, your season wasn't over just yet?
It was good, man. Obviously, we wanted to be in the tournament. We thought we deserved to be in it. I haven't felt like it forever since we've been in this position, because last year we didn't get to finish out the season. But once our name was called, we were really excited, and I feel like we get to go back to Oregon and kind of make up for what we did a couple years ago over there. So.
Yeah, you were on that team a couple of years ago. I mean, just what do you remember? I know it's a different team, and but just that region and just kind of how the atmosphere was and how it felt out there. What do you remember about that series a couple of years ago?
The atmosphere was very sterile. I mean, there was not many fans there, but Oregon State had an unbelievable team. They went on to, I think, win the national championship that year, right? And so they were really good, and they deserved it. We didn't play our best, and but I believe we're in a good spot to do some damage in this regional.
And it's interesting that you talk about going back to Oregon. And we just talked to Gavin about the pressures of playing at LSU. How do you feel a team has navigated some of those pressures, and how excited are you that this isn't the end? You still get to keep going.
Yeah. Obviously, we were excited. It's not the end. It would have sucked to be cleaning out our locker room right now. So, I'm happy to go play another game. And I know with Landon going in that first game, we get that one under us, and it's all up from there.
Yeah. Hey, Devin, can can you just, I guess, talk about maybe what the pitchers have kind of had to do the last couple of weeks to stay fresh? I mean, obviously, Landon went pretty much the whole game against Georgia, and it's been a while since a lot of you guys have thrown in a game setting. I mean, just what have you guys done to stay sharp over the last couple of weeks, and how are you approaching this?
Obviously, we've gotten with AD individually. We've had a couple team practices. Some maybe some more off days than we're used to, but I think overall we're definitely going to be strong and ready to roll come Friday.
Devin, just your pitching staff overall, I'm sure the way a lot of you guys have pitched down the stretch, you put those guys up against anybody at this point, huh?
Correct. We don't know much about either team that's in this regional, so we're just going to go compete against them like we're playing against another SEC school and treat them the same. And like I said, we'll be ready.
You're one of the few guys, I guess, that have really been in the heat of those postseason battles, the Florida State Super Regional in particular. What would you tell these other guys about what it's like to play postseason baseball?
I'll probably just tell them, you got to make every play and treat every pitch, every at bat like it's your last one. You don't know when it's going to be the end. So if you have those hopes and dreams of going Omaha, you gotta start from the first pitch of the game all the way to the end.
Devin, obviously in the midst of this whole past week, Coach Maneri announced his retirement. Where were y'all when he told you as a team Friday morning? And how much does that affect what you hope to accomplish this weekend, knowing that whenever this ends, it'll be the end of his career as well?
Yeah, obviously Coach Maneri has been a great coach for many guys. He's done a lot for many people, and we all respect him very much. He's done a lot for me personally, challenged me, gave me many opportunities. I'm thankful for it. So, he told us the other day in the locker room, and it was pretty emotional, but we want to go out with a good ending for him.
For you personally, real quick, y'all really taken on that sort of long relief role at the end of games, pitching however long you have to close out something here down the stretch, and you really pick things up. What sort of led to that for you here near the end of the season? Really just seem to be pitching as best as you have all year.
I mean, just like I said before, Coach gives me the ball. I'm just going to get as many outs as he needs me to get.
All right. Thank y'all.
All right. We'll see y'all.
All right. Y'all can get started.
Hello, everybody.
Paul, to start with, with today, we all were waiting on the edge of your seats for a week, and you knew coming into today that it could be maybe the end of your career. What did it feel like for you to see y'all's name pop up there and know that your season was going to continue, your career was going to continue, and y'all have one more chance here to make a run?
So I don't want to sound corny about this, Wilson, but, last night I was pretty antsy about everything, nervous, and my wife and I were sitting in our little theater room at the house, and we started watching this show about Memorial Day, the Memorial Day concert. And it was heart-wrenching, to say the least. And I think you all know that I can be pretty emotional at times hope I didn't make a blubbering fool out of myself the other day, but kind of wear my emotions on my sleeves sometimes. And you start thinking about today being Memorial Day and all of the people who have given their lives in defense of our country, the people that died on September 11th, you know, the people that have made sacrifices that every day is Memorial Day for them. And you start thinking about that and its importance compared to whether or not we get a bid or not the next day. And I started to not really worry about it as quite as much. You know what I mean? It was very sombering to watch that show and realize, you know, what is really important in the world, and how grateful I am to have had the life that I have had, the opportunities that I have had, and realize that those opportunities only exist because of the sacrifice of so many others. And that's what we celebrate today with Memorial Day. To celebrate the courage and the dedication, the sacrifice of so many people. And I felt that I was thinking very selfishly when I started worrying about whether or not we were going to get a bid the next day. So it allowed me to sleep better and not worry about it. But then when I woke up in the morning and knew it was you know, I didn't know if I was going to be a coach a few hours later. You know, I didn't know if I was still going to be an active coach or if my career was over. You know, you start getting a little antsy, and then you're watching the show, and they sure did create drama for the LSU Tigers. You know, it took quite a while before the bracket came up. And then during a commercial break, I told after the bracket was up, I told the team, the heck were we worried about? We weren't even one of the last four in. If I'd have known that, I would have not been as uptight about everything. But I had talked to the team for a half an hour before, or not for a half an hour, but I talked to the team a half an hour before the show began, and I told them how they should react if we did not hear our name called. You know, I wanted them to react with class and dignity and not make excuses. And if we didn't get selected, I'm not going to badmouth the selection committee. I'm not going to be angry. You know, we would have taken it like men and realized that we had our opportunity to have done better, and we would have had nobody to blame but ourselves. And that was going to be our attitude if our name was not called. I felt like we deserved it. We played the fourth most difficult schedule in the country. And, you know, we had moderate success. I thought we deserved to be in, and evidently so did the committee. And I'm glad we're getting a chance to play. But, you know, they stretched it out. And were we the last bracket they showed? I think it was right with the last bracket or whatever. This happened to me once before when I was at Notre Dame, and my team reacted at Notre Dame that year the exact same way our team reacted today. You know, they jumped out of their seats, they started hugging each other, pumping their fists, screaming. It made me feel good that it mattered so much to our players that they reacted that way. That gives me a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of optimism about how we're going to go to Oregon and play this weekend, because it showed that it really does matter to these kids.
Paul, the three players we talked to said it matters to them that they're your last team. They want to give you one more shot. They want to play well for you. How are you going to balance that? How do you want them to be motivated? And yet, I'm sure, being the person we know you are, being humble, that you don't want it to all be about you.
Well, you're exactly right, Scott. I don't want it to be about me. You know, this is, you know, I've done this for 39 years. I don't know how many NCAA tournaments I've been in. I'd have to count them up, you know, to remember. But I've had an awful lot of great experiences. And if we had not had our name called today, I would not have been upset for Paul Maneri's sake. I would have been upset for those 30 plus kids that were in that room, because for some of them, that would have been their only opportunity, of one of their few opportunities. I've had plenty of chances. You know, my career is fulfilled. You know, I've made a decision to to hang him up after this year. And I've had, you know, a bucket load of great experiences. So, you know, I would have been heartbroken for the players, not for myself. And the fact that we're going to get to play, I'm ecstatic for the players. I'm ecstatic that they're going to have an opportunity to play for a national championship. We're 5 wins away from going to Omaha. That's the way I explain it to them every year. You're 5 wins away from going to Omaha. And we're not going to play any teams any tougher than we've been playing all season. With all due respect to Oregon's, you know, Central Connecticut State and Gonzaga. They're all great teams, championship caliber teams, but none of them are going to be better than Arkansas and Vanderbilt and Tennessee and Ole Miss and all the other teams that we've played this year. So we're going to go up there and we're going to let it rip. We're going to play as well as we can and hopefully have success and hopefully, you know, be able to win that thing one game at a time. But it shouldn't be about me. I don't want it to be about me. I want it to be the experience for these kids that they'll remember for the rest of their lives. And I don't want them to play uptight because they think that they're letting me down if they don't be successful. I want them to have fun. I want them to represent LSU. And, you know, listen, they have to learn how to play with pressure when you play for LSU. So you know, this is going to be no different for them than playing any other time.
What do you remember about your last trip out west to Oregon, and how much can that help you in terms of the time difference and the preparation and all those things?
Well, I remember we had 2 great wins, and I remember we had 2 really bad losses. But we lost, you know, to the eventual national champion, Oregon State, who, you know, had a bone to pick with us because we had beaten them two times the year before when they had probably the best team in the country. We beat them the year before. They were 56-4, and we beat them twice to make it to the finals. And, you know, they had fire in their eyes and they didn't like us very much, you know, and they took it out on us the next year when we weren't quite, you know, the experienced team that we had been the year before. So, you know, Oregon is an interesting place. You know, it's way on the other side of the country. It's a long, long flight. You know, it's amazing when we don't host, the NCAA finds a way to make it as difficult as they can for us, don't they? They send us, I feel like we're going to Siberia, you know, they're sending us to the other part of the world. It's not the other part of the world. It just feels like it, you know, the most distant site that you possibly can be. You know, I think there's 3 times that we've been in the tournament where we haven't hosted. We've gone to LA, we've gone to Corvallis, Oregon, and we've gone to Eugene, Oregon. But, you know, we're very grateful to be in the tournament, and I don't care where we went, really, you know. And I told the players before, if we just get invited, we're going to look at it as though it's an adventure. So, you know, we did have the experience of going to the state of Oregon a couple years back, and it's a you know, time change. You know, last time we went, we had a plane that had to stop and be refueled in Colorado Springs. That was interesting because when we landed, there was a lightning delay. Now, we've had lightning delays at Alex Box Stadium, and, you know, you have to sit out for 30 minutes. Well, they had a lightning delay on the runway, so they couldn't fuel our plane. And we sat there for what seemed to be like 2 hours waiting for them to gas us up. Now, they tell me that we're bidding on a larger airplane so that we can make it on 1 tank of fuel, and we're not going to have an intermediate stop, which would be very nice because I think it's about a 4.5-hour flight as it is. So, you know, we toyed with the idea of going out Tuesday, but I just think that, you know, that's not necessary. We're going to leave early Wednesday morning, hopefully get out there around noontime, their time, and get something to eat, check into the hotel. And we found a practice field about 45 minutes from Eugene, actually closer to Corvallis, that somebody's going to let us use their field. So we're going to practice out there on Wednesday, late afternoon, kind of get acclimated to the climate a little bit, you know, get the circadian rhythm working a little bit with the body clocks out there. And, you know, I didn't even realize until after the show that we're playing the second game on Friday. So we have a late start. I think it's 9 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock Pacific Time. I was surprised when I saw that. I figured we'd be playing the first game of the day, but we're not. We're playing the second game of the day. So we'll adjust. I'm just glad we're going to have an opportunity to play. We're going to play a very good Gonzaga team who has a really outstanding starting pitcher. But we have a pretty good starting pitcher as well, so it should be a great ball game.
Hey, Paul, this is Doug at WWL TV in New Orleans. You mentioned you were not one of the last four in. The committee chair said that in a year when a lot of conferences couldn't travel, they used RPI as maybe even a bigger factor than normal. When you looked at this in the last couple of days, were you feeling more confident that you had done enough heading into this? Like, did you feel pretty confident at the start of the show today that you were getting
No, Doug, quite simply no. I've had my heart broken several times in this, I told the players that half hour before the before the show started, I told them the story of my second year in coaching at St. Thomas University when we were in the Sunshine State Conference, Division II. Florida Southern finished in first place. We finished in second place, one game behind them. Tampa finished in third place, one game behind us. We had played Tampa four times. We had played Tampa 4 times on the road. We split the 4-game series. We had played Florida Southern 4 times on the road and it split 4 games. We were 37-14, and they, instead of us getting a bid, they gave it to Tampa, who finished behind us. And I sat there all afternoon waiting for the phone to ring. Nobody even had the decency to call me and tell me we didn't get a bid. And from that day on, that was my second year. That was 37 years ago. Okay. I've never taken anything for granted. And I've had my heart broken several times since then. A couple times at Notre Dame, one time here at LSU. And, listen, yesterday I watched the last 5 innings of the UConn Xavier baseball game. Xavier had beaten UConn in game 1, forced an if necessary game. And if Xavier beats UConn, they take up one of the at-large spots because UConn's going to get an at-large. And I'm thinking, please, come on, Jim Penders. He's a friend of mine, the coach at UConn. Please win this game, because I can only imagine if Xavier wins and LSU doesn't get a bid because Xavier beats UConn in the Big East championship game. You don't know what the committee is saying. It's not a transparent process. And that's why I always hated putting it in their hands. You know what I mean? I always hated that we didn't do more and that we always had to put it. I always hated when we put it in the committee's hands. I know it must be a terribly difficult job for them to do. And somebody gets their heart broken. Georgia didn't get a bid today. It's hard to believe, they deserved one. And I'm sure so did several other schools. I'm heartbroken for Notre Dame that they didn't get a national seed. Everybody thought they were going to be a national seed. That committee has an unbelievably difficult job to do. So in answer to your question, no, I didn't go and do it with a lot of confidence at all. I just tried not to be too optimistic and not be too pessimistic, and just didn't want to be heartbroken for our players today. I was just really hoping that we'd get the bid, and we did.
Coach, you kind of talked about it. I guess there's 2 trains of thought. There's one thought that, well, they played 56 games or whatever, they are what they are. And then there's the other part of it that's, well, none of that matters at all moving forward. And whatever team shows up could make a run. Is that kind of what you stress to them right now?
Oh, absolutely. Hey, listen, go back and look at the history of this tournament. One year, Fresno State was a 4 seed and won the national championship. I remember my good friend Brian O'Connor at Virginia one year, and their team was really struggling at the end of the year, really scuffling bad. And I think they were the 3 seed, and they were playing in the regional at Santa Barbara, and they were playing Southern Cal in game 1 the next day. And I was on the phone with him, and I said, Brian, you've had an amazing run at Virginia. So this is not your best team. Just listen, try to win a game at the regional, regroup in the off season, get another great team put together for next year. And just, don't go 2 and out. reset your goal, just win a game and move on, you know? They ended up winning the national championship that year. And crazy things can happen. I remember one year Cal State Fullerton won the national championship. I think they were 16-15 at the end of April. Anything can happen. Vanderbilt won the national championship one year. They finished 6th in the SEC. Anything can happen, Jock. You just got to go out there and play the game. You know, we're going to play Gonzaga on Friday. And I've never coached against Gonzaga. In fact, I haven't coached against any of the 3 teams in this tournament. Not one time in my 39 years have I coached against Oregon, Gonzaga, or Central Connecticut State. Now, I do know the coach at Central Connecticut State, Charlie Hickey. Charlie was the coach at Providence when I was the coach at Notre Dame, and we were both in the Big East Conference. He was the coach at Providence when Providence decided to drop the program. And they had a great team at Providence when they dropped the program. And Charlie is a great coach and a great guy. So I'm looking forward to reacquainting with him. We haven't stayed in touch through the years, but I always had the greatest respect for him. So I'm sure Central Connecticut State's got a really good ball club. If they have his personality, they'll be a really hard-nosed team. But I've never coached against any of those 3 teams. I'm sure Gonzaga is going to be really tough. You know, they were one of the 20 sites selected and didn't make the cut to 16. So you know that they've got a really good ball club. And I looked at their stat sheet. Their number 1 pitcher is outstanding. Pitched a no-hitter this year against Pepperdine on the road. And I watched a little video of him, and he's tough, especially on right-handed hitters. You know, he reminds me a little bit of Lewis Coleman with his delivery. You know, he throws across his body. He's got kind of a low arm slot. He's tough. So we got our work cut out for us just to get past the first game against them. It's going to be very difficult regional, as they all are. You know, everybody in the tournament are champion caliber teams, and we just got to take it one at a time and leave it all out there on the field. And as I tell the players, let it rip. Let's see what happens.
Oh, is that a natural field? Do you know anything about the field?
All artificial turf. All artificial turf. There's a guy by the name of Phil Knight. You ever heard of him? Nike. It's a pretty nice field. I think he built it for him.
We talked with the guys about the pressure of, you know, that comes along with LSU baseball, and obviously it gets ratcheted up a bit. Are there things that you can do as a coach to alleviate that pressure, or do you like a good amount, you know, just so they know that the stake is high?
My style has always been the more the pressure, the more I try to get them relaxed. So I kind of got to get a read on my team. If I feel like they're, you know, really anxious and really intense and really, you know, starting to feel it, I'll do whatever I can do to try to relax them. If I feel like they're not really focused, and for whatever reason, how can you not be focused, right, for an NCAA tournament? Then that's when I, you know, have to kind of get into them a little bit. But my guess is that my job is going to be to keep them relaxed and, you know, try to keep them confident and have fun and go out there and let it rip and believe in themselves and go for it. So that's what we're going to do.
All right. Is that all for Coach? Thank you all.
Some housekeeping stuff. Paul, what's your schedule shaping up for this week?
So we're going to practice tonight. You know, like I said, we're going to actually practice at 7:00 tonight. Try to get guys used to doing things a little later in the day. Probably tomorrow. I hadn't really thought about it yet, to be honest, Michael. I think that was you that asked the question. I couldn't tell. I don't know for sure tomorrow. I'll let Bill know as soon as I make a decision, but I got to put some thought into it. I've been dealing with a lot of other things. One of the most difficult things is, you know, we have to trim the squad to 27 by NCAA rules. So we have to go from, well, we have 33 players, but one of them, Matthew Beck, is not able to play. So really, I had to talk to 5 players to inactivate them for this tournament, which essentially ends their season. So that was 5 very difficult conversations I had to have in the last hour. So there's a lot going on right now. So I'm gonna run home and have a bite to eat for Memorial Day with my family, and then come back out for practice.
Yeah, we're looking at leaving early on Wednesday though.
We're gonna. Oh, I didn't tell you that. I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, right now the tentative plan is for us to pull out of Alec Box Stadium at 9 a.m. and wheels up at 10 a.m.
Is that all? Thank y'all.
Okay, everybody.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey, Bill,
Thank you.
what time did you say practice was, Bill?
It's
Seven.
at 7 tonight.
7 o'clock.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I'll once I get more information from Oregon about the regional and credentials and things of that nature, I'll pass that on to everybody. I should have that information out this afternoon. And I'll send out the recording out of this press conference as soon as it's ready. It should just be a few minutes. But we'll stay in touch about everything.
Bill, will anything be in person, or is it all going to be Zoom? I mean, like, even if we go to your practice or something.
Hey, Scott, I'm sorry. Can you repeat it? I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, will everything be Zoom, or even?
Yeah,
if I go to
I
your
just
practice?
glanced at an email from their media coordinator that said everything will be via Zoom.
Well, it sounds like, I mean, obviously they'll be traveling a bit Wednesday and stuff. Are we going to have other availabilities this week, or was this maybe the last?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, definitely. It may have to be on Wednesday when they practice Wednesday afternoon. That's what I'm thinking might be the next best time for availability. Because yeah, like you said, they're going to practice. They found a field to practice at Wednesday afternoons. Maybe we'll do it prior to the practice. Then that might be the best time. And then Thursday, Oregon said they don't have a formal structure for any kind of press conference on Thursday. But we'll just do something on Thursday from the field at Oregon on Zoom as well. We can do that too. That's right, because the game's not until Friday. So yeah, I guess we could likely do something both Wednesday and Thursday would be my thinking.
Great.
What about a game in Siberia, Bill? Well, you think that's a good idea?
I wish you wouldn't have said that. I know he didn't mean it that way, but just the way he said it. Yeah.
If there was a game in Siberia, the K lady would be there. She'd find a way.
Absolutely. Well, I know Chris Giat was there last time in Corvallis. I don't remember if Anita was there or not. I can't remember if she was there.
Yeah, that's what I should have said. Chris Giat would have definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Giat was in Corvallis for sure.
Okay. So it's the NCAA, right? It's still their rules, that the Zoom stuff.
Yes.
They're the ones.
Yeah. I don't know if there's reduced capacity in Oregon or not. That's something I'm going to ask about as far as fan attendance. I'm not sure what the rules are there. Yeah. But otherwise, we'll and so we'll be leaving here Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock from Alex Box.
Wednesday at 9 a.m. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Good deal. Yeah, I can't imagine they're 100% capacity. I saw that the softball regional at UCLA, they gave 56 tickets to each fan base, to each.
Are you serious? Oh my gosh.
56 tickets.
Oh gosh.
Thank you, Bill.
All right. Thank y'all.